What up, guys? Coach Jimmy here. Tech Talk today with Miss Taylor.
Hey, guys.
And today we're going to be talking about Taylor's competition. She received her blue belt, like all of those things. We're going to be talking about the new systems and things that we're setting up here at Tech Center and all that good job. So that's what we're going to try to get into this podcast today. First and foremost, congratulations on your blue belt. How did that feel?
A mixture of feelings. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, because when you first called out my name, because I knew that Bam Bam was getting his purple belt. Well, you gave Zach his blue, and I knew you were going to give Zach his blue belt, but you wouldn't tell me that. So I was like, oh, Bam's next. And you called out my name, and apparently I didn't realize it, but apparently I was looking around for someone else. Like,
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you was looking around for someone else named Taylor for sure.
But I was thinking to myself, no, I don't deserve this belt. Like, don't give me this blue belt. And I was shaking my head as I was walking up there, but once the moment of awe wore off, it felt really good, and it was a euphoric feeling. It still doesn't really feel like it happened.
Yeah, we was talking about the feeling of not feeling good enough, or like you're not at that belt level or whatever when you receive your new promotion. Bam Bam says he felt it. You said you felt it. I feel it. And I think that's part of being a true martial artist, is not feeling like you mount up to that next level when somebody gives it to you, whatever.
It's weird because I know that all of you guys have talked about it and how you felt like you wasn't ready. But I didn't understand that feeling until Thursday. And it's like immediately the pressure's on your shoulders and you're like, oh, crap, I'm a blue belt now. Like, I got to be good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get beat by a white belt now.
So you're going to feel that, and you're going to feel that all the way through. And especially when you get up to black belt or brown belt or whatever, like, you're going to definitely feel that pressure to perform because you feel like you got to mount up to it, you know? But I've been thinking a lot about that lately as a school owner and, like, as a coach. And my feelings towards it have changed a little. When I was a blue belt and I just got my blue belt, I was like, man, I'm the shit. I'm a blue belt. Like, I'm the man. And then I was like, I gotta submit all these white belts. Like, I gotta submit everybody because I'm a blue belt, right? And but now, with the older I get and the more time I put in, I realize, like, that belt is just saying, hey, we acknowledge the hard work and the sweat equity that you've put in. It's just a drop in the bucket compared to the time that you're gonna spend at black belt.
Oh, yeah.
Like, once you get your black belt, they're like, what else is there, right? Like, you're gonna be black belt longer than any other belt. So even if you got your belt, which you didn't, by the way, but even if you get your belt early, you'll grow into it. It's something that, like, you earned it. Your coach, this is for the people out there, you earned it. I gave it to you. But for everyone else, like, if somebody gave you that belt, they feel like you deserved it. And even if you don't feel like you are that belt yet, you will grow into it. So it's pretty cool to watch you guys grow and watch you guys get better and watch your journey and watch how you change the longer you do it, you know?
Oh, yeah, which I think it's harder for you to notice your own journey because as you're growing, the people that you're training with is growing too. So you don't really feel like you're getting any better because you're growing together.
Your measuring stick's different.
Right, but you get to see other people grow. And watching that, you're like, holy crap, like, you just settled in scarf or whatever it is. And it's almost a personal win, especially if that's your training partner and you've been helping them with something. It's a really good feeling.
Yeah, it's cool to, especially when you teach them. Like when you're the one that's shown them that move, and then you get to see them pull it off, you're like, man, like where you learn that at? You know, it feels really, really good. I think it's why we do what we do here, and why our gym is so close, why our culture is so different than other schools. I think all schools have that family bond. I think every school I've ever been to, like everybody's been real welcoming except for like 2. And I traveled and trained, so I've been in a lot of gyms. But like, our culture is different. Like, it is not about winning in our school. And some people would be like, oh, yeah, we all are comfortable losing or whatever. Like, I've heard that said about other schools, and I'm sure people would say it about ours. But that's not true. We enjoy winning more than anybody, but not against our training partners.
Right.
Our training partners are exactly that, someone to train with, someone to help me get better. And it's like your parents say when you're little, if you break all your toys, you don't have any toys to play with, right? So you got to take care of them. So anyway, talking about growing and all that stuff, you competed like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I sure did.
And you were just talking about just now growing and all that stuff. So how did that go for you? I already know. I just want them to know.
It was awful. It was such a rough day, and I left that day, and I was done with jiu-jitsu. I never wanted to walk back into the school. I was ready to just throw my training gear away and pretend like it never happened.
That bad?
It was bad. I was very upset, and all of my team members that were there could tell that I was very upset. And they were all encouraging me and telling me that I had done great. But at that time, you aren't willing to hear it, because to me, I just got wrecked in 4 matches. Well, 3 of the 4 matches, because I won my very first one. But it was rough. You went to a ref's decision and won, right? No, it was points. It was I was down 2 points, I think, because the first one I won, second I got submitted, and then the third one, because it was 2 points, because if I passed, I was in the middle of passing, and I ran out of time, but if I would have settled, then we would have been tied.
Gotcha. And then the last one, the
Submitted.
girl took you down, picked you up by your neck from Turtle.
Yeah, that one was fun.
That was rough. But yeah, so you were talking about quitting or whatever. What got you back into the gym?
I felt like I had an obligation to be here. So I have taken a personal investment into the gym. I work with the kids. I sign new members up. I'm really close with a lot of the parents. So I felt like I couldn't just bail on my team, that I was supposed to be here, that they had gotten, that I had a responsibility to be here. And I showed up, and I was not going to train. I didn't bring anything to train in. I was there in my sweatpants and my hoodie, just making sure there was nothing I needed to do, and then I was out of here. Well, Zach was getting ready for a competition, and you had him in the cage, and you made me get in there and be his partner.
I made you?
Yes. It was Taylor, get in here. What was I supposed to say? Nope. And walk out the door? I can't do that. You're my coach. So I got in the cage, and I had to be his partner for about an hour and a half of him just practicing snap downs. And it was in the middle of that, and I was learning, because you were explaining things to him, like you need to hop back. It's like a gallop. You're not jumping, or everything that you were explaining. I was like, hey, that makes sense. And I realized about halfway through, like, this is fun. I would be stupid to quit, because this is fun. And after that, like the next day, I had the bug worse than I've ever had it before, because then I was like, you know what? I'm competing again. Like, I'm not ending on that note. If I'm going to end, it's going to be on a good note. So.
Yeah, some people don't have that. some people's ego, they're like, I got to protect it. They don't realize that's what they're doing, but they'll make every excuse and everything like, nah, bro. Oh, I got to work. Oh, they make all these different excuses as to why they can't. And it's mostly to protect their ego. You got a lot of guys that just, a lot of girls, a lot of guys that when they feel that, they go, oh, like I don't want any part of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that for sure we would have lost you after that competition had you not come back in here and experienced the joy that you have from training.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, like, we have that happen a lot, and people don't show up to that next class. So if you had something to say to somebody that experienced a loss or, you know, by the way, your matches, like, you did extremely well. Like, we were all very proud of you. And it's funny to watch. It's funny to watch how you are when you watch your teammates when they have a loss and, like, how great they did and, like, how proud you are. But then as soon as it was your loss and you competed in the same manner and you were very competitive, and as soon as you seen that, like, on their side, you're like, oh, you did amazing. You did great. You did, like, and you're, like, trying to amp them up about how good they did. But then you do the same exact thing and lose in the same exact ways or win in the same exact ways, whatever. Like, you're just identical. The way you process your own defeat and your own wins, by the way. Like, you're so, like, hard on yourself. And I think we, all of us are. We're on our own worst critics. But it was funny because we was all like, man, that was amazing. This girl's like a belt level above you and 30 pounds. And, like, so, like, and you went out there and, like, lost by 2 points. Or you beat one of them. You beat one of the girls and a weight class up. And then, you know, you did absolute and one of the girls just wrecked you. And it sucked. But it was because of Turtle. Mm-hmm. Like, for some reason, you went to Turtle. I don't know why.
Yeah, apparently it's a bad habit that I've developed, and I did not realize that until I went back and watched the videos of my matches. And
you did it in 2 matches really bad.
Yeah, I look back
and
I
like,
was
why
like,
are you in Turtle?
I guess that's my defense mechanism. Every time I was in danger, I was like,
let
Turtle.
This person on my back.
Yeah. And that was actually one of the first things that I started working on when I came back that next week. Because I was like, well, this is what got my butt kicked every time. I'm not going to Turtle. And you learn so much more when you have a purpose when you're training. Because if you're thinking about, oh, I can't go to Turtle, then you're thinking about other options. So you're developing a stronger game. And just that. So, yeah, I competed, and I feel like I got my butt handed to me. But the skill that I have learned since then, I feel like is leaps and bounds above where I was a month ago, just because I'm training differently now.
Yeah, it's funny. I always say this to people, like, with competitions, like, there's a difference in people who compete and people who don't compete. And I've noticed that in the forums, I run a page, it's called Coach Jimmy. And, like, I just sit down and I'll answer questions that people have. And it's so funny, like, how people differentiate between competitor white belt versus white belt, competitor blue belt versus blue, and so forth on through all the belts. And, like, a competitor blue belt is, like, usually more efficient than your non-competitor purples and browns, you know. And blacks, and obviously there's always exceptions to the rule, whatever. But, like, a competitor black belt is like the top of the mountain there. Like, you know, like, those guys are usually way better than your other black belts, and it's very rare to find someone that don't compete that are still, like, you're going to find really, really good black belts. I'm not saying that there's not black belts out there that would just destroy me that don't compete. I'm saying that usually, as a rule, the black belt that competes versus the black belt that there's a clear difference between the two. And I think that the reason there's a clear difference is in your gym, you get away with a lot of stuff because, for one, you're not trying to win training. You're trying to train. You're not trying to wreck your opponent. You're not trying to tear off their arms and limbs. You're trying to get to this position of control, and you're trying to get a submission or whatever. Competition, you're going there, you're trying to win, and you learn a lot about yourself in comp.
You really do.
In comp, you learn your mistakes. Like, you learn what you're doing. Like, I use Turtle. I go through Turtle as a transitional thing if I need to. To somebody's coming to take my back or trying to turn me a certain way. Like, I'll turn a Turtle and then like use it to re-guard. I'll use it to wrestle from. Like, I use it, but I don't stay there. And you are using it as like, you was just like, I'm going to Turtle, and I'm going to Turtle.
Yeah, I was hanging out.
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't want to be under them, so I was like, abort.
But
which
you learn
bad.
You learn that about yourself, and now here we are. Like, you're breaking the habit, and I'm a true believer. You learn more about yourself in one competition than you do in class 7 months.
I agree.
So, anyway, it's a good that we had to experience. I'm glad that you didn't quit. That would be my recommendation to anyone is like, come back to class. Mm-hmm. I think so many people forget that we compete to have fun. It's supposed to be fun. Like, we work hard all the time in the gym, training and putting in this work. Competition is designed for us to go out and like show what we know, win or lose. And if you lose, you come back and, figure out what you did wrong and come back and try to do better than you did last time. Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be fun. It's your time to shine. And if you don't, like, you got to try. And I think too many people put pressure on themselves to perform. Me, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it. But I think that's what sets our team apart is, like, we want to win, but not at the expense of putting pressure on ourselves to where we're not out there having fun, doing what we love.
I think that part, because this was only my second competition, but I think that part of the not putting pressure on yourself comes the more you compete. Because I know, like, Bam Bam, that was what, his 5th or 6th competition? He had done it a lot. And so he was just like, yeah, I'm going to go out there. He said, I don't have a plan. We're just going to see how it goes. And he done phenomenal. He won gold. And like, was just like, yeah, it is what it is. And had a great day. And Jay was the same way. Even though that was his first competition. He's a freak in nature, that kid. Yeah. But
Jay's like 130 pounds. And he's only been doing this 6 or 7 months, and it's awesome to watch him. Mm-hmm. He gives people that train for years hard times.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my favorite people to roll with because we're the same size. So him and I just go back and forth. But I do think that the more you compete, the better you get at competing.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's something that I've realized, and your nerves aren't as bad, which makes a huge difference. Because if you're calm, I feel like I haven't made it to that point yet, but I feel like if you're calm and collected and just ready to roll like another day in the gym, you're going to do better than if you're just like nerves and jittery, because that's how I was. I was not terrified, but just a ball of nerves. And
well, I think the butterflies help though. The only fight I've ever lost, like really lost, I got disqualified a couple of times in boxing, but the only fight that I've ever really lost, I wasn't nervous. I just didn't want to be there. Oh. Like, I was just sitting back there. My hand was broke. I had a bunch of excuses, right? But I was just sitting back there, and I was like, man, this is stupid. I was telling myself that the whole time. I was like, man, I shouldn't be going out there. You got vertigo. You broke hand. Like, there was things that I was telling myself, and then I was just like, man, I don't want to do this. And I said that to myself right before I went out, and I come out flat-footed and I got dropped like right out of the gate, swept the guy, pushed him against the cage. Ref stopped it. Like, the ref had come running in as soon as I got dropped, even though I recovered and like swept the guy. I wasn't ever out of it. I was standing flat-footed and got pushed over my heels, and it set me on my ass, you know. And the guy come rushing in, I swept him, put him in the cage, and the fight was over. Well, that was the only fight that I ever went into that I was not nervous. Didn't have any anxiety. Didn't have the butterflies. Didn't have that like I'm about to be in a fight feeling.
Well, I definitely think there's a difference in I don't want to be here and having your head straight on your shoulders, like, hey, let's do this. And there's a difference in that and being like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, I'm so scared, and being a spaz. I think you have to find that median ground. Because I know, like, when I went out my first match, I was so nervous and so spazzy and so tight that when I got done, I was exhausted.
Yeah. I
was done because I was freaking out so much.
Adrenaline dump. Mm-hmm. Yeah, adrenaline dumps suck. I've had that happen to me twice in a real fight, and that sucks. Mm-hmm. The adrenaline dumps because then you're gassed, and you just like feel weak, and like those suck. So yeah, I think the more you compete, the less that happens to you, and I think you're right. Like the more comfortable you get in competing, the better you'll be. I think the only way you're gonna get good at it is to do it.
Right.
I'm hoping 2021 that I'll be able to push past some of the injuries and stuff and really compete a lot this year. I kind of want to focus on myself a little bit and compete. I don't want to compete on a card with my guys. I also hate competitions. Like, I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about it. I think waiting around all day long and having your matches set so far apart, like way too far apart or way too close together, I think is a problem that plagues competition. Like, we had guys that were supposed to compete at 2 o'clock, competing at like 8:30 or 9. We got there, and then you don't know when to eat and when not to eat, and so like when to go use the bathroom and when not to. Like, it sucks It sucks to be at tournaments that aren't organized, and that's one major reason that I don't compete very much is because I freaking hate it. That's one thing that I love about MMA is like we know exactly what time we're going to weigh in, and the next day we know within 5 or 6 minutes, 10 minutes max, 15. We know within 15 minutes of when we're going out to compete. Like, I have never been to an MMA show with the exception of one when an ambulance was dealing with a guy that had he had got choked out, and then when he woke up he had like this panic attack, and like he couldn't get his breath, like he was, and they sat out there with him for like 45 minutes and wouldn't let the show start till another ambulance got there, because you couldn't have the fight without like an ambulance being on side or whatever. It's like an insurance thing or whatever. Huh. You have to have paramedics there. And so he was out there, and then finally they took him. And when they took him, another one had to come and replace them. And it's like 45 minutes. That is the longest delay that I've ever experienced in MMA, ever. Like, you just know within 10 to 30 minutes of when you're going out there, when you get to fight or compete. And jiu-jitsu tournaments are all day long, and I freaking hate it. Standing, your back starts hurting, you get cramps, you don't know when to eat. If you eat too early, then you're going to be hungry when you compete. If you eat too late, you're going to be sick after you compete. Like, there's so much going into it, and I hate it. Mm-hmm. Like, that is probably the biggest. I don't care about, if I could hold a competition and just be like, all right, who's in my weight class? All right, guys, come to the gym. We're going to set it up. We're going to give medals to the winner. Let's compete. Like, I would rather do that and compete with the highest level of competitors than I would, like, those wrestling style tournament, jiu-jitsu tournaments, because they suck.
So we did Naga, and they were pretty true to time, but they had 3 sessions. So we were still there all day because we had kids, and then we had women in intermediate session, and then we had our beginner session for the men.
They still push Ryan back almost 2 hours.
But what the issue that I had with them is we were in a building with no cell phone service, and that's your only way to keep up with your brackets. It's smooth comp. So, and there wasn't any screens.
They didn't put anything. The TVs up like New Breed does.
No.
Yeah,
so you didn't know you were competing until they called your name over the speaker, and you're like, "What? What do you mean? Like, I'm not ready for this."
Right.
But now the New Breed that we went to with a few guys a few weeks ago. Now that one was rough. Our guys got pushed back like 5 hours.
Yeah, there was. It's funny how it works. So I'll hear people trash on Naga, then I'll hear people trash on New Breed, then I hear people trash on Copa, and it's funny because Naga fall off a little bit around here, and what I mean by fall off is attendance will go down. And then New Breed's attendance will pick up. And New Breed will have a lot of people in it. And then it'll last for like 2 or 3 of them. And then it starts having all those problems because it's overcrowded. And if you can time it right, you can start competing at the Nagas while everybody else is competing at the New Breeds, right? And then you'll get in and everything will be timed perfect because there's not as many people because people got mad at Naga.
And went to New Breed.
And then people start having good experiences with Naga and then bad experiences with New Breed because New Breed is overcrowded. So these people that had a good experience with Naga will be like, yeah, we had a great experience. Like they run it perfect. And like their time and everything was there. They've gotten more organized or whatever. So then over a period of like 2 events, they'll start trailing into the Naga. Well, then Naga start getting overcrowded, and New Breed will be slack on people. Mm-hmm. And people start having a good experience with New Breed again, and bad experiences with Naga. And it just does this little trend where it goes back and forth, and it's hilarious. Ending. Like, if you time it right, you'll be on the opposite end, so you're going to both of them when they're low. When their attendance is low. And if you go when their attendance is low, then you'll get in and get your matches and get out. But there's a problem with the attendance being low. And that's usually they don't have someone in your weight class or somebody in your skill level or whatever. And now you're either competing at a heavier weight or not never a lot of weight for me, but because I weigh 140 pounds, and then I always end up competing at 170. But like you end up competing a skill level up from where you are and a heavier person or whatever to have more people in your bracket. Mm-hmm. But you have a good time because they stay on schedule. And I wouldn't mind giving up 15 pounds to somebody to be on time and to know exactly when I'm going to compete. I would rather give up a little bit of skill or a little bit of weight to have a good timing thing. But some people aren't like that. Some people would rather have more matches in their weight class and their skill level and wait, have the wait time and just compete at whatever time it falls on. Not me, not so much. I don't have patience like that. That's what I hate most about those wrestling style jiu-jitsu tournaments like Naga, Copa. New Breed is the waiting and not knowing. And Smooth Comp has made it a lot better because a few years ago they didn't even have like a Smooth Comp site. You just had to show up, and they had like these tables with these brackets out on the table, and they would just call y'all, and then they would mix them on the table.
Smooth Comp is a lifesaver, so I don't think I could compete without that.
Yeah.
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 At least you have some kind of idea, and
Right.
you know ahead of time if you're being bumped up in weight or.
So yeah, you got it
anything
made.
like that.
You could just look on your phone, or at New Breeds you can look at the screen, which I think Naga really needs to adapt to that, or adopt that. But anyway, it's fun. Like it's fun doing watching your guys compete and then do the things that you've trained them to do. That's amazing feeling. It's one of the best feelings ever. I think that I know that's why I got into coaching. Like I never really enjoyed competing at BJJ tournaments because of the weighting and stuff. But I love going there and watching my guys put in work and compete. So, because when I'm there, and then I actually like it click with them. Like while I'm telling them to do something, I'll be like, all right, they're fixing to do this. Be ready for it. And then that you'll see the guy they're competing against. Sometimes they're like, I'm not going to do that. But then they have to do it.
Their only option.
Yeah, or I guess the best option, so they have to do it, and then my guy capitalized. And I'm like, see, I told you, like, go, whatever. It feels really good to be able to coach on that level and to be able to see it and, like, see your guys understand what you're telling them and have your own style and stuff. It feels really good. Like, I love it.
I bet. Because, I mean, just me going to... Bless you. Just me going and supporting the team or watching. Good heavens.
My bad.
Just being there to watch my team compete, it's the best feeling in the world. Just seeing them do well, or them do a move that they've been practicing on you for the last 6 months, and they do it in competition, and you're like, that's it.
Right.
And because I know I'm like recording people's matches, and I have to sit there and say, don't scream, because you're wanting to cheer them on. You're so excited, but you don't want your voice screaming in their videos, so you have to calm down a little bit.
I scream. If I'm not coaching, which usually I am coaching, but you know what was hard for me? This was really hard for me. So I was a kids coach for 5 years, and 6 years, and then I turned it over to Bam Bam. Like Bam Bam's a kid coach now, and like I love these kids. I've spent a lot of time with these kids, and I still come in and I like put on the boxing gloves and I act like I'm bullying them for them to take me down and stuff. So I still have this good relationship with the kids, but Bam Bam is our head kid coach now. So at the competition, I want to be like, hey, Upa, strip, like together, like hip out. You got to lift and go together. You can't just bounce up because you're giving him the space back. Like you gotta, and I want to coach these kids, and I can't. Like I can just be like, all right, listen to Bam Bam, or like, let's go. Like I get to cheer, but I'm not the one. But I'm not the one that's coaching because I don't want to coach over Bam Bam. And not only that, they know his voice better now because he's been over the kids program more. So, like, I got to give him that respect and not step on his toes. But that was hard. It was hard to give that up. Like, I'm like, oh, this is my school. That's my kid. And Bam Bam's like, nah, bro, this is my kid. And they're in my program. And I'm like, you're right. But that was hard. That was hard for me. And I still ended up coaching some of them because they went on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
But actually the last one we had kids at, he competed in, and he
couldn't get in
and
early.
he couldn't get in early. So I got to coach, and I'm like,
Yeah, you were coaching one, and I was coaching another because we had them going at the same time. And it was so funny because I was coaching B. It was his last match of the day, and he had a rough day too that day. And he's 10, I think.
Yeah, he had a rough day.
He did, and I'm sitting there and I'm coaching him, and then all I see is Bam Bam walk up. They finally let him in, and he just immediately started coaching him in the middle of the match, and I'm like, yeah, get him out of this, like go.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to give that up. Like, I enjoy just watching the kids compete so much. Mm-hmm. I'm in the process now of like we're changing some of the way we're doing the schools. Like we do a schedule change like every 2 years, and we haven't changed the schedule but one time, not very much in the last year. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna put in some new systems and stuff to keep the kids motivated, especially after they have a competition like B did. But the cool thing about that kid is, like, he was back to class. He competed Saturday. Two of his matches was 2 different skill levels.
Yeah.
And then one of his matches was a different skill level and a different weight. Mm-hmm. And so he only had, like, one – it was one bracket that was his size and his weight, and there was like 2 people in that. But then he had 2 other brackets, mm-hmm. and one of them was like 2 skills, 1 weight, and then one of them was like two weights and a skill. Mm-hmm. And like he was there in their face.
Yeah, he got after it
the whole time he was there. And I watched him try his best, even though he was getting beat or whatever and outpointed. And he was just there the whole time. And then at the end of it, he was sad. He showed up Monday ready to go.
And what can I do?
He said, I don't want that to happen again. What do I need to do? That's what he said. He's like, I don't want that to happen again. What do I do, Coach?
The best part for me was I believe Bam Bam was going over takedowns that week. I think, or not getting their arms outside, wrestling stance. That's what it was, their wrestling stance. And I said, what do you think, B? And he said, I think I wish I would have known this on Saturday.
That is great.
I said, well, you know it now, so you can do it at your next comp. He said, yeah, I guess.
I wish I would have known this on Saturday. That's awesome.
He's got the best attitude.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, like the kids and the stuff that they're doing here. And that's what I was saying is I'm going to put on a competition. Like I'm going to set up some cameras in a cage and actually let them come out to like walkout music like you do an MMA fight, but let it be grappling matches. And I'm going to just post and let kids sign up from all over.
Like a super fight for kids.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to be like 15 and you're under. And we're going to match them close to skill, age, and weight. And do like super fights for kids where they get to come out. And
that's cool.
We're going to set that up at the beginning of the year. And we're going to train the kids for that here at the school. To like, we're gonna start saying, hey, if this is what you want to do, like we're gonna do this every 2 months, mm-hmm. and we're gonna have it set up to where we're gonna have the bands like you put on your ankle, like the blue and the red. Yeah, we're gonna have those set up to where we have the gimbals with trackers and stuff, and it's gonna be really cool the way I'm setting this thing up.
What's a gimbal?
It's what you put a DSLR, like your camera. You set it on there, and like most of them has like facial tracking.
Oh, okay.
And like it'll follow the person. And the cage is 20. Our cage is 23 feet. It's a octagon. It's 23 feet. Well, it's not going to move much, but it will shift enough to keep your competitor centered.
So you'll have one camera tracking the red band and then one tracking the blue band
on each side.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we're gonna have like Team Red, Team Blue going live, and we're gonna have a list of names, who's on what team. Mm-hmm. so they'll know which live camera to watch when it's live. And then at the end of it, like we're going to post it to our YouTube channel, but we're going to edit it together. And we're like even going to mock up like we're going to do like there's a lot of stuff coming. Anyway, I don't want to get into it all because I don't want people stealing my idea. But yeah, it's fixing to get really, really amazing. And it's going to be sub only. So
oh man.
Yeah, none of that points or whatever. It's going to be sub only.
Kid's about to put in some work.
Yeah. I'm excited about the year to come. Everything's revolved around the 10th Planet style because that's who we're affiliated with. I was awarded my brown belt under Stephen Aiken in the 10th Planet system, and I coach over there and like, and I coach. I have my own school here, so everything's gravitating towards that style of grappling anyway. And I'm excited to put on like tournament. I'm going to do it every 2 months. Like I'm going to put that on every 2 months. We're going to have like a bunch of little things that go on. But every 2 months you can bet that we are going to have a in-house, not necessarily in-house because it's going to be open to everyone to sign up. And we're going to do like kids. And then the next month or the next month later, we're going to do certain weight classes for an adult. And then the next month, we're going to go back to certain things with kids. Like we're going to do some little nice, cool stuff. I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but there is a grappling match. It's a thing that we're setting up that I'm super excited about.
Can't help it. You want to talk about it
I want to talk about it so bad. But we're going to set it up, and it's going to be cool. And I'm super stoked about this year and where the direction that Tech Center is going, because we're now it's a 10th Planet JJ or whatever, like the affiliate when on our team. Like we're Tech Center, 10th Planet Perry is 10th Planet Perry, but then our affiliate team is our team banner. So like our team trophies and stuff will be together.
Oh, okay.
It's like 10th Planet JJ or 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu or whatever. That's going to be our team banner. So anytime we go, they'll know that we're
affiliate.
Yeah, and that we cross train together. That's the only school now that we're going to work out the cross training and stuff the way that like my guys can train there, his guys can train here. It doesn't cost them any extra money to go over there. It doesn't cost us any extra money or them to come here.
Right.
And it's cool. We got a bunch of big things happening. I'm so stoked to watch this year unfold.
Yeah. Because
this year, like the ideas and stuff, and I got some stuff that's ordered for the cage to like make it more interesting, like some better views.
Listen, you can't keep talking about this if you're not gonna tell me what's going on.
I'm not telling them what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on after the show. But yeah.
The suspense. Sir.
Good. Y'all follow the page, Tech Center, Coach Jimmy, Jimmy Barnett, all that good stuff. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You want to find out what we're doing or you want to actually watch the matches, that's where you'll find it at. It's Coach Jimmy _TECT, TECT, and you guys will get to see all that. Before we go, though, you got discouraged really, really bad. The very next day, it was 2 days later, you showed up. You felt obligated, but you showed up anyway. Mm-hmm. You had fun. It remotivated you immediately.
Oh, yeah.
So what would you tell people about their jiu-jitsu career? What's the most important thing?
Keep showing up.
Show up. I say that all the time, guys. Mm-hmm. That is the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce to everything. Show up. You come in. Once you get there, you will do work. You will get better. Mm-hmm. So your belts is just a mark in your journey. Your black belt is going to be the belt that you're at the longest. Quit getting hung up on whether you deserve your belt, because you do. If someone gave you the belt that's legit, then you deserve it. Whether you are that belt yet or not, do your due diligence to grow into it and grow past it. That's all there is to it. That's my advice. Just keep showing up. You have no choice but to get better and grow as long as you show up with the right mindset and the right attitude. That's what sets our school apart, is that if they don't have the right attitude, They can't stay here. I don't want them. I only want the people with the right mindset and the willing to have fun and that I can trust having their arm around my neck to let me go and not hurt me.
Right.
You know?
Like, hey, I'm tapping.
Right. Let me go, sucker. So anyway, that's what she said. Show up, put in the work, keep showing up. Right?
Right.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate all you guys listening to us today, ramble. You got anything you want to leave them with? Any words of wisdom? Nuggets of wisdom?
The nugget that I have recently learned is just because you get your blue belt doesn't mean you get to quit. Because everyone quits after they get a blue belt. So,
yeah, if you quit after blue, I'm smacking you.
Yeah.
I'm going to hunt you down.
Don't follow that. Keep showing up.
Yeah, keep showing up. Yeah, that old meme where the blue belt's just slowly, he's like talking to everybody as he's disappearing.
Oh, yeah. I think my favorite one right now is, you know how everyone says a black belt is just a white belt that didn't quit? It is a black belt is just a blue belt that didn't quit.
Okay. Bam Bam posted me a meme earlier today because the stigma about purple belts is they never show up for warm-ups. And he said me showing up after warm-ups, and he's riding a scooter with like some Macho Man Randy Savage stuff. It's like stuff on. So it was awesome.
That's great.
But I told him, I said, if he starts missing warm-ups, we're going to make him run laps while everybody else is learning technique. So, but anyway, I truly enjoyed this tech talk because I think we hit on so much stuff, and it's going to be fun this year, guys. So come see what all the hype's about. That's our catchphrase, but it's so true.
Yeah. Come check us out. It's worth it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Changed your life.
It really did. I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was when I walked in here.
Yeah?
2.5 years ago.
How so? Oh, put it on the spot. Put it on the spot.
Man, I could talk about that for days. In a short,
yeah, just hit the bullet points.
I was a pushover. I didn't really have a voice. I kind of did what everyone wanted me to do. Really.
I get you out of jiu-jitsu.
What?
Man.
What?
Huh?
I like the person that I've
You
become.
pushy.
It gives you
just playing.
confidence. Like, who I was then versus who I am now, as silly as this may sound, 2 years ago, you wouldn't have caught me with my hair up, no makeup on an everyday basis. But now I have a higher confidence. I have a higher self-esteem. And I think it's because in this sport, you're uncomfortable all the time. And you get used to being uncomfortable. So going to town with no makeup on is nothing. Or you don't feel like you're constantly trying to impress someone because you're learning that you're growing regardless. This sport has translated into my everyday life, and it has helped me become more successful at my job. It has helped me stand up for the things that I believe in. It has helped me just create a better life, just
That's
in general.
awesome. It done the same thing for me. Not necessarily more confident. It made me less outspoken, actually. Not necessarily humbled me in a way like you would think. It made me feel less like I had to prove myself.
I understand that.
Like, it sounds silly, but like all my life I felt like I was a poser. They call it imposter syndrome. It's like I felt like even though like I had a title of boss or manager or whatever, like I didn't feel like I deserved to be that person. Mm-hmm. And now like I earned this through blood, sweat, and tears. I earned it. And I'm glad that my coaches have held me to the standard that they have. You know, I'm going on 19 years, and I ain't missed a day. Like, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I had a back surgery in 2012, but I was still showing up taking notes. And then like 3 weeks after I had surgery, I was drilling stuff. I wouldn't let people drill on me, but I would kind of like get in and drill, and then I would get out. And it took me a little while to even trust anyone to roll. But when I started back rolling, I was better than when I left. My cardio and my timing was shit, but my knowledge and understanding what to do was way better. So I was actually better. But other than that time period, I've been in class. And we're going on, April will be 20 years. This April will be 20 years, and I'm a brown belt. I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put in the work. I'm that guy. There's no imposter syndrome. Like, I don't feel like I don't belong in that. Like, everywhere else up until that, I felt like I had to prove myself. I had to prove how smart I was, that I could build all of this. Like, this room I built. This room that we're sitting in, I built it. Like, I built everything, and then, like, I still have trouble telling people, like, yeah, I can build a porch. Like, I can make a wall. I can make that door. Like, I did all this, and I still have trouble, like, trusting myself to say, yeah, I can do that. But I still say, yeah, I can figure it out. That's what I always say. If somebody asks me, I can figure it out, because that's true. I can figure it out. But I don't trust myself to be like, yeah, I could do that. Just hands down, yes, I can do that. So, no, I'll probably figure that out. But with this, I'm like, no, this is who I am. And it helped me not be a poser as much inside my own mind. Because how you see me and how everyone else sees me is completely different than how I see myself. And how you see yourself is probably completely different than how everyone else sees you. And that's what jiu-jitsu's done for me, is it's made me feel like I have a family, like I belong somewhere. Like, even though I don't fit in perfectly, the people that I'm around are into the same stuff that I'm in, and we get to grow together, you know, whatever. Long rant, but it's true. Like, it has changed me 100%. And I get to do something that not a lot of people do. When I come to work, this isn't work to me.
Lucky.
Like, this is not work to me at all. Like, I don't say, I got to go to work. I say, I got to be at the gym at this time. Like, I love it. Like, I love coming here and coaching and helping someone better their life. And it's so rewarding to watch people grow and get better that even when I feel bad, I can come here and I'll feel better. And nursing the back injuries, and like this year has sucked.
Oh, it sure has.
Like, I had 3 family members die, lost my Douglas gym, like so much crap. The house burnt. Like, this year has sucked.
It has.
And but with that said, I still wouldn't change what I do and like where we are. Like, we're gonna climb up. We're gonna do better. This year is gonna be fun because we've gotten a chance to just focus on the Eastman School and build, and we get to grow with 10th Planet too. So it's gonna be cool. And I'm so grateful to be able to impact people's lives and coach and do what I love to do. Like, actually, what I like. I've been saying I'm gonna be a coach since I was like 5 years old. You probably never paid attention, but next time you go over to my mom's house, look on the refrigerator.
Okay.
There's a thing there of it was a taekwondo person, but we can pretend it's a gi, we can pretend it's a gi, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's what we're gonna pretend. But there's a guy in a taekwondo gi and black belt, and it says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And mine was a couch.
A couch?
I want to be a couch when I grow up.
Well, I think you've accomplished it.
Actually, I meant coach, but I spelled couch, so we're gonna go with that. But I've wanted to be a coach since I was a kid, and now I finally get to do what I love to do. So Like, and it's because of the guys that trust me to train them and everything. And this year we're going to grow. It's going to be amazing.
It is.
Yeah. So, guys, that's Tech Talk. I love doing this so much. This podcast is probably one of my favorite things in the world to do. Guys, if you got somebody that you think would be a good guest on the show or whatever, let me know, because I'll have anybody. I don't care whether you know anything about mixed martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, any combat sport. I don't care. Business, like, I want you on. I want to really talk and go over anything that we can talk about, because I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things to do. And then other than coaching, this is it. Anyway, that's Miss Taylor and Coach Jimmy, guys. Tune in. We're going to be trying to post these weekly again, get back on track with that. Look forward to our events this year. If your kid's not doing anything active, get them in here. Teach them how to stand tall, make eye contact, speak clearly. Teach them, give them the skills they need to be a leader, to be confident. It's like Taylor and I was just talking about. The benefits are so great. And it teaches them to overcome adversity and hardships, and like teaches them how to lose and then come back. It does so much for you. So I want to see you guys training. This year is going to be fun. We're making some changes to a lot of changes. Guys, there is a lot of changes coming to the school, and it's going to be fun this year. Like, we're changing we already put in the mapped out our we've already mapped out our promotions and stuff for the kids. That's changed. We are now in the process of changing our tiers of learning. We put in a junior coach program where kids are trying to earn their spots as junior coaches, and eventually some of the junior coaches will come on as full-time staff. Like, you could get your kid in now, and then by the time they turn 16 or 17, they'll have a full-time job. If by the time we grow and get to that point, that is the goal, and I'm so looking forward to all the stuff that we got going on. I'm looking forward to the competitions. I'm looking forward to our junior coaches program growing. I'm looking forward to our kids and like separating them by age again, because we're just now getting big enough to have to separate them again like we used to. So it's cool. We got a lot of stuff going on. So come check us out. Anyway, got anything you want to say?
Keep showing up. Keep
showing up. That's a rule. Come see what all the hype's about. That's our catchphrase, because it's true. There's a lot of hype around us and around our school, because it's going to change your life. It's going to change your kid's life and teach them how to be a leader. As an adult, it's going to give you a place to come, be around like-minded people, have some fun, and learn a skill to where you can murder people.
Who wouldn't want that?
Proper violence.
Let's do it.
Proper violence. Anyway, guys, that's Tech Talk. Y'all have a blessed week, and Merry Christmas and all that good stuff.
Merry Christmas.
All right, bye, guys.